ABC Jack here. Welcome to Vinyl Martini. I am finally back home. I've been back home since Monday. Today is Wednesday, so I've been kind of decompressing from my trip to Kingston, Ontario, and to Buffalo, New York, to the world famous MGK kegger party. This is my third year attending. Again, I just want to extend such a great gratitude to Patty and Mike for hosting this event. They're now in their new home in Buffalo. It is magnificent. It's a big Victorian pile. Mike, I've been up in the record room. Been on the porch. We dominated the porch. Poor Patty was, doing her baking and very busy, and graciously gave us the run of her house. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are the best. It was an amazing weekend. I won a Colton Award. I will talk about that in a second. It's my second Colton Award. And another great big thank you to Steve. A is for Alice, B is for Bob, C is for consistent, great souvenir t-shirt again. One of the things about having one of these t-shirts is you have to attend the event. You can beg Steve for another t-shirt, but I'm sure that he'll tell you the same thing. Nope, you got to go or you don't get a t-shirt. And it's brilliant. I've been wearing his t-shirts on vacation. I get stopped in the street all the time, get a lot of compliments on them. So thank you again, Steve. You're amazing. Great job. All right. How should I start? I guess I'll show you some records that I got in Kingston. I combine this MGK's party with going to my son's place. He's renovating a house, so we kind of do a little building project during the week. We do a little bit of fun stuff up there. I do a little bit of record shopping. This year we are doing a fence. Like at my age, I'm doing a fence. I did my own fence 10 years ago. It almost killed me, but that's what he wanted to do. So we dug, we were digging 12 post holes. Post holes are like the bane of every fencer, but we did a great job. We got the fence holes, the post holes done. We did an amazing job on the fence. He's really happy. So that was a success. He was playing with not his band, in the band that he is in, Emily Steele and the Deal. They had a gig on a place called Wolf Island, which is just off the riverbank from Kingston. You take a free ferry there. It was a beautiful venue, beautiful night. They played 3 sets. So it was wonderful to see him play in a band. He was doing a great job. Emily Steele was great. We went to Emily's house. She lives a block from the ferry, and spent about an hour there just having a little bit of a party. And we also went up to a cottage for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. So we managed to do some recreation up there. I love spending time with my son. I don't get to see him very often. He's at one end side of the country. I'm on the other side of the country. So it was really killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So on Wednesday, I took the train down to Toronto, and I was going to meet with my old friends, Brian, Embryonic Robot, and David Atkinson. We traveled to Buffalo together last year. My train was late coming into Toronto. In the meantime, Brian had picked up David, and they were parked right in front of Union Station. So I just had to walk across the street, jump in the car, and away we went. But first of all, while I was in Kingston, I went to Zap Records, and I was picking up some VCLT for my friends at the party, and I happened to obviously get something for myself. And I'm a big fan of the band magazine. Mike PC31 turned me on to these guys. Howard Devoto from the Buzzcocks started magazine. They are great. This is their 4th release. It's a live album. Ben Rankins, you'll be happy to know. I know Ben has this record, and it was recorded at Melbourne Festival Hall in Australia, the 6th of September, 1980. Magazine records in Canada are really, really hard to come by, so I'm just happy to get anything by them. I only have 1 magazine record. I have a couple of Howard Devoto things, some EPs and an album, but I'm always on the lookout for it, so I was delighted to find this live album. So I will take it. I'll take a magazine record any day of the week. And while I was at my son's place, I sent him some records a long time ago, like about 8 years ago. So I sent him a stereo, a whole complete stereo. I sent him a box of records, and he has not had time to set all this material up. And him and Diana were at work one day, and I was kind of, as I'm as prone to do, when I see some records, I have to sort of flip through them. I can't help myself. So I flipped through this box of records because I couldn't remember exactly what I sent him. Now I found this record in that box of records. And I must have been purging my collection a little bit because it's the Psychedelic Furs, their third release. I think it's Talk Talk 1981 release. And when I sent it to him, I guess I was thinking maybe I don't really like this record, but I happen to really love this record because since then I've got like 6 different Psychedelic Fur records. And I always thought that I had misfiled this record, thinking, like, where is that Psychedelic Furs record? Well, it was in Keel's box. So I liberated this record without telling him. He won't miss it. And it's coming home to a good home. So I will confess next time I see him. But happy to bring this home. And it's a great record. It's got Pretty in Pink on it. Probably their biggest selling record in North America. Anyways. I shook myself up a martini because I knew this was going to be a fairly long video because I got a shitload of records to show you guys. Next, I want to show you some VCLT that I got from David Atkinson. He had sent us a list. We are on a WhatsApp chat group, Brian, David, and I, and saying, if you want me to bring you some records, I'm purging my records. Let me know what you want. And he sort of did a small little list of stuff. So I happened to mention that, and he mentioned Stan Ridgway. This is Stan Ridgway's first solo record. I think it's his first solo record. I could be wrong. It's called The Big Heat. And Stan Ridgway, original member of Wall of Voodoo. This is I think it's his first or maybe second. This is an acclaimed record. It got to number 131 on the Billboard charts. That's kind of like, I don't know, I could say something. I could say something derogatory, but I won't. But just because something doesn't go as high in the charts as it should have, doesn't mean it's a bad record. I have not listened to this, but I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, David. And he also gave me a copy of Echo and the Bunnymen, the Peel Sessions. Peel Sessions in Canada are really, really, really hard to find. So happy to get this. This is my first Echo and the Bunnymen album because I hear people from the UK, and not exclusively in the UK, talk about Echo and the Bunnymen. This is a 4-song EP. Read It in Books, Stars Are Stars, I Bagsy Yours, Villiers Terrace, and the lineup, of course, the classic lineup, Ian McCulloch, Will Sargent, Les Pattison, and David Balfe. So fantastic to have this. Thank you, David. Love it. So when I got in the car, I met Brian, with hugs all around. They said, well, do you mind if we go to a record store before we cross the border? You don't have to ask me twice. Sure. There's a record store in Oakville called PVC Records. French Vinyl Addict it's his favorite record store. Romu lives in Oakville, so it's his local store. He highly recommended it, and so we spent an hour in the record store checking things out. So the first record I found was a Danny Kerwin record. It is called Hello There, Big Boy. Danny Kerwin, former member of Fleetwood Mac, part of the blues scene and then into their more poppy scene. There's their kind of second reiteration where they went through a number of people, but Danny Kerwin was one of their guitar players. He's a great, great guitar player. He had some mental issues. No, that was Jeremy Spencer. Anyways, Danny Kerwin did not have those mental issues. I'm mixing up Jeremy Spencer and Danny Kerwin, both guitarists for Fleetwood Mac. But this is on DGM Records. I've never heard this before, but I have a couple of Danny Kerwin records, and they are excellent because I'm a big fan of that era of Fleetwood Mac, that mid-period from about 1969 to about 1975. Yeah, happy to have that. And that was $8. I mention these prices because all these records are fairly cheap. I'm always trying to add to my Neil Young collection. This is the thoroughly denigrated album called Neil Young, Everybody's Rockin', and he's playing with the Shocking Pinks. And when Geffen Records said, "Hey, I thought you were going to give us a rock record." He said, "Well, I'll give you a rock record." Now, it's not fair to say that he kind of blew this one away, because this is the kind of music that Neil Young grew up on, rockabilly and old rock and roll songs, and he does a great job on this. Haven't listened to this. I am looking forward to listening to this, and it was $8. And right on the record, it says, "This record has been discounted because of the condition of the artwork," which is, there's a little bit of a watermark. It's a little bit wavy here, but other than that, the record is clean as a whistle. And anyways, for $8, I see this around all the time. It used to be a $2 record every day of the week. Now it's like a $20 record in many places, and I was happy to find a copy for $8 Canadian. While David was browsing the racks, and they basically have new releases, re-releases, like sealed records in amongst their used records in their normal bins. But I beelined over to the $5 cheapie bins, and I found 2 records for $5 each. And I am a big Willie DeVille fan, and I found 2 records that I don't see in good condition very often. Well, one of them I never see in any condition, and that's this one. This is called "Where Angels Fear to Tread." Willie DeVille was part of the CBGB scene back in the, I guess, 77 or so. His first record was released to pretty good acclaim. I'm a big fan. His album called Le Chat Bleu is fantastic. This is it is a 1983 release. Like I said, I've never seen this one in the bins before, and it doesn't have any ring wear. It's in mint condition for $5, so I had to bring this home. And I had to bring Coupe de Grace, his let me just, trying to get the date on here, a 1981 release. And I have seen this, but it's always in terrible condition with lots of ring wear. This one's got a little bit of ring wear. The record is mint. And then David scuttled over. He saw the $5 cheapie bins, and he scuttles over. He says, "Did you find anything?" So I showed him these 2 records, and he said, "Oh, shit." He says, "If I had seen those, I would have got those 2. Do you want to give them up?" "No, David, I do not want to give them up." I kept them very selfishly. Then we went to Buffalo. We finally got into Buffalo. Yes, we had trouble at the border again. We were carrying that known terrorist suspect, David Atkinson, with us. He's got a British passport. And Brian and I were okay. We had kind of a nasty guy asking us questions. But again, he's got hold of our passports. And I see him put a rubber band around the passports, just like last time. And he said, "Well, could you guys park over there? And then you just cross and we know the drill. We know where to go. We know where the office is." And he has the passports, and he puts them in that little air thing. It goes, it closes. There's like a plastic thing. Puts the lid on, and it goes up. It's like a really, really old department store. And away go our passports. So we go up into the office in the waiting area, waiting to see somebody from the Border Patrol. And we go in there, and last year there was like 4 people in there. This time there had to be 45 people in there. And we were supposed to go out for dinner on Wednesday night. I was just thinking to myself, nah, I don't think we're going to make dinner. And this is like kind of I'm going to say 2:30-ish. But lo and behold, 10 minutes later, they called David's name up, and he had to go into the office. They didn't want to see Brian and I. In the office, did a little biometrics thing they do in there, and then we were on our way into Buffalo. Went out for dinner. Had a real lovely dinner in an Italian restaurant there was a group of us, probably about 10 of us that were in there Wednesday night. We were the early birds. And Patty and Mike had made reservations at a lovely Italian restaurant that is like a 10-minute walk from their house. And by the way, we found a hotel. We were not staying at the airport. Last time we stayed at a hotel, like a cheaper hotel at the airport, but then there's Ubers and you can't. It was so much better. We found this small little boutique hotel, which was less than a 5-minute walk from Mike's house. So it was perfect. And everything that we did, like the record stores, and we did a number of things. We went to the art gallery. Everything was in walking distance. So Brian was able to park the car at the hotel. We didn't have to pick that up. And anyways, it made things so much easier and so much enjoyable, especially for Brian. So on Thursday, we went to Revolver Records. You've all heard Mike talk about Revolver Records. I got a big patch of records there. And by the way, when I got all these records from Oakville, and I was thinking I could have got more, but I'm trying to keep my powder dry for the big events in Buffalo, like Revolver and Black Dots Records. So anyways, we went to Black Dots on Thursday afternoon. There was probably about 12 of us there. And I managed to find some, even though that the quantity of records there are diminishing, the general consensus, or Mike feels that maybe the store is going to be sold and it's not going to be a record store anymore. But who knows if that's going to happen. Anyways, I'll show you what I got from Revolver Records. Big fan of this guy. He's a singer-songwriter from Nashville. Mickey Newberry, the album title is called His Eye is on the Sparrow. Now, Mickey Newberry is like one of the creme de creme songwriters in Nashville. He hung out with the likes of Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt, all sorts of the best writers in Nashville. He knew them. He would invite them over to his house. He knew them. He socialized with them. And this is it's on ABC Records. It's a 1978 release. I pick up Mickey Newberry albums whenever I run across them. He's like my Bobby Bear guy. I love Bobby Bear. I love Guy Clark, but I can't seem to find him in the bins. I've only got a couple of Guy Clark records. Mickey Newberry's a little bit easier to collect, so really, really happy to find this. And this was, Mike had gotten us a deal at Revolver Records, 10% off anything we bought. So this was $7. It's in mint condition. I'm very happy to find that. I am a huge Mott the Hoople fan, along with Steve, A is for Alice, B is for Bob, etc., etc. He is a huge Ian Hunter fan, as well as being a Mott the Hoople fan. And this is, I'm not sure if this is their second or third release. In Canada, the early Mott the Hoople records were released on Island Records, and in the United States, they were released on Atlantic Records. And so I always call these early Mott the Hooples their Island record period, but this is an American press, so obviously it is on Atlantic Records, and it says right on the cover, it's $4 and it's only in good shape. And it is only in good shape, but hopefully it's still playable because it's on thick vinyl. And this might be just my place keeper, that's for sure. But I never see the earlier stuff in the record bins anymore. So when I saw this, even though it's not a pristine copy, I grabbed it. And yeah, the lineup is, Ian Hunter, Mick Ralphs over in Watts, Verdan Allen, and Buffin on drums. It's a classic lineup that they went so far they almost quit, and then they teamed up with David Bowie and did All the Young Dudes on CBS and revived their career. And anyways, the rest is history. So very happy to see this, and Steve advises me that this is their country record, so that does not scare me off one little bit. So happy to find that record. Mike and I are huge Jerry Jeff fans, Jerry Jeff Walker, and I know that he has got this record, and I don't. And I found a copy for $5. It's VG++, very clean. There's his wife on the back and his daughter there. Susan, his wife, has been a longtime manager. This is on Elektra Records. I love Jerry Jeff Walker. Eastern Avenue, River Railway Blues, Lone Wolf, Bad News. Never released a bad record. He is, as he calls himself, the last of the hairy ass hillbillies. Originally from Upper New York State, a longtime resident of Austin, and then him and Susan bought a place in Belize, so he mixed up his time between Austin and Belize, which is kind of interesting. So very happy to find this. This is a deleted copy. It's got a little saw thing on the bottom there, but that makes it even better for me. So Jerry Jeff Walker, adding to my Jerry Jeff collection. I'm almost complete there. I think I'm missing one, and I don't include the stuff that wasn't pressed on vinyl. It was only released on CD, so I'm strictly an LP guy. Here's a band, artist from Hamilton, Ontario. We drove over the bridge in Hamilton, Ontario, on our way to the border in Niagara Falls. And this is a great blues harp player. He goes by the name, his real name is Richard Newell. His stage name is the King Biscuit Boy, named after the radio show that Sonny Boy had in Arkansas, the King Biscuit Flower Hour. And he's backed by a Canadian band called Crowbar. Brian has been showing off a lot of Canadian artists. I don't know if he has any Crowbar. I don't really think it's his thing, but he might show it in his top singles of Canadian singles of all time, his top 200. But this is this is American pressing, a really, really clean pressing. It was released in the United States on Paramount Records, and so happy to find this. I just bought King Biscuit Boy album about a year ago at a record fair. It's so great. It's blues. Highway 61 he does. Don't Go, Key to the Highway, Karina, Biscuits Boogie. Fantastic blues. This is going to be great. Really looking forward to giving this a listen, and it is in pristine shape. And it was $4. Can't beat that. I am a huge Millie Jackson fan, and as I was going through their cheapies downstairs, I found two Millie Jackson records. I'll show you the first one. I've never seen this before. This is a 1986 release. Millie Jackson was a disco singer, a soul singer, sexy and very, very sassy. She's got some very, very, very risque lyrics. She is she's managed herself. She's maneuvered her way through the evil music business. She's always been paid for her performances. I've seen her give interviews before. Really remarkable woman. Great singer. This one here, I'm not too sure about it because it's an 80s output. But anytime I see a Millie Jackson record, I just grab it. It's like, if you see me, it's like I find a Millie Jackson record. I just snatch it out of the bins. I put it on my arms and I just, I look around making sure that nobody wants to grab it from me. I'm kidding, but it's almost like that. It sounds pretty good. It's a good story. And another Millie Jackson record. This is the final record I'm going to show you tonight. It's Millie Jackson, Free and in Love. It's on like most of her great material. It's on Spring Records. This is a 1976 release. Like I said, she is very, very sassy. She doesn't take any shit from anybody. She doesn't. The titles on here are pretty ordinary, but some of her titles on her other records are just absolutely great. They just tell you the whole story and just in the title. But fantastic record, 1976, like I said. And this one, I did pay a whole $10 US for this, and but I've never seen this record before, so very happy to get that. That was my splurge record from Revolver Records. So that's all I got. That's part one. Have so many records. Like I said, I brought a shit ton of records home. So did David. Brian is pretty. He's smarter than we are. We go crazy. He is very selective in what he buys, but he still found some great stuff. Part two is going to come in a few days. I want to thank everybody for who's ever subbed me up, who watches me, who gives comments. Thank you so much. While I was I just want to tag this on because I was just talking to JT just before I started taping this show, and I got some records for JT, and I thought he was going to be at the party, and he couldn't be at the party for various reasons. He was in Thailand. He was doing traveling. He's got to come home and make some money. He couldn't make it this year. But if I was to send him these 3 records from Canada, it probably would have cost me about $80 in postage. So I packed them up. I put them in my suitcase. I brought them over to Boston. I got Brian to drive me over to a U.S. Post Office, and he kindly did that on Friday morning, I think. And I sent him the 3 records. It cost me $5.86 to ship the 3 records to him through the U.S. Post. And he just sent me a message, and we just chatted, and he just got them today. So that's pretty good service. That's under a week, and I really like the price. So that was that. I want to say I'll just mention my little Colton award because I alluded to it before. I won another Colton, and I won it for the VC member who buys the best records for under $10. Now, they kindly gave me this, but we all know that the real recipient should have been Jonathan from Cheap and Cheerful Records, and he was supposed to come to the party. He was planning on coming to the party, but he had ran into a little medical procedure. He's not feeling well, so he couldn't make it. So he is, I find cheap records, sure, but Jonathan, like, that's his business, man. He finds really, really great cheap records, and I really admire the stuff he does. So Jonathan, this one is really for you. But I'm happy to keep it on my mantle here. It looks so good beside my other one that I won for best hair, which was kind of a throwaway, I guess. That's what we say. Listen, great show on those records. Part 2 coming up in a few days. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Cheers, guys.